Hey, hello everyone, my name is Melvin and I want to welcome you to this video. In this video, I'm going to take you through the process of writing your resume. So, I want to emphasize on the word, writing a graduate school resume. So, this is different from the normal resume that you write. I really want to emphasize that it is about the document that you submit to graduate school. So, for a number of graduate schools in the United States, they would want you to submit a resume for admission. So unlike the statement of intent that you submit, the recommendation letters that your recommenders write on your behalf, and the degree that you submit, and other questions that you respond to, the resume is a component of those documents that you submit. I think the reason why the graduate school wants you to submit a resume is because they really want to know what you have done, what you have achieved over the years, and what are some of the skills that you will bring into the program. And they also want to see what are the little things that you have achieved. What can you say? So your resume really kind of help you to really be able to talk about those things, and in a way that you can really summarize it. So it's not a very large document. It isn't a long document. So it's like a 1 to 2 page document. It doesn't have to be a long document. So if you want to write in a more longer way, you can do that in your statement of intent. There you can write, as long as you want to write. But like in your resume, you have to be very succinct. In other words, you have to summarize your key achievements, your education, the skills that you have, and the languages that you can speak, and some of the experiences that you will bring on the program. So that is why I think in many cases the grad school asks students who are applying to universities to submit the grad school resume, right? I hope you have got it now. So if you got that point correct and you think it is very useful for you to take your time in writing your resume, you have to take your time. So I'm going to take you through a few steps, things that you have to note down when writing the resume. And at the end of the video, I'm looking forward to, but I don't know if I'm going to do this, but I'm not sure what I'm going to do in this video. I just wanted to be very, so I'm just going to take you through what are the things you should think about when you want to draft your resume. So let's move on. Let me see if we can move on. Okay. Yes, we can. So I want to emphasize this point. Your resume is about you. So one of the key information that you should keep at the back of your mind is that when you're writing your resume, you should think about self. How would your resume tell someone about you? If you're submitting a resume to me, if you want me to look at your resume, how would I look at your resume and be able to create the linkage that your resume is not different from you? So your resume has to be like you. Your resume is about you. It resembles you. It is a picture of you, right? I think that is the right word. Your resume is a picture of who you are. So your resume cannot be saying this, and your degree is saying this, and your statement of intent is saying this. So there should be a linkage between your resume, between the information that is in your resume, the information that is in your statement of intent, and the information that is going to appear in your recommendation letters. I look forward to again doing another video on how to write a recommendation letter. Maybe not how to write a recommendation letter, but how to share vital information with your recommenders, and what to tell your recommenders to write about you. Because sometimes there is a disconnection between what we have on our statement of intent, what we have in our resume, and what we have in our recommendation letters. So keep this in mind when you are writing your resume, or you're writing your statement of intent, or even you're asking recommenders to submit recommendation letters on your behalf. You have to make sure that these informations are connected. You cannot say this in your resume and you say that in your statement of intent. So I just wanted to make that point clear. But in this case, in the case of the resume, you have to note that it is about you. It is a complete picture or a reflection of who you are as a person, where you got your education, how people can contact you, and some of the skills you have. So let me just emphasize another point. Your resume is also a marketing tool. The reason why, and people who are experts, of course I'm not an expert in the resume, I'm just sharing my experience. I'm not an expert in this, right? I'm just sharing what has worked for me. Maybe it will also work for you. But over the years, I've seen the resume to be a marketing tool, right? The reason why it is a marketing tool because it is your opportunity to write about your education, the skills you have, your experiences, and how people can know more about you. So if someone wants to know which, the person wants to verify the university you attend. So the only opportunity the person has to really verify your identity and the education you have and all the information is a resume. It gives you just a snapshot of the university you attended, the organizations you worked with, the time and all of it, and some of the skills that you have that makes you stand out. So that is why you have to be very intentional about writing the skills that you have, the quality of education you receive, and from which institution that provided the education. Those are very important information that you should have. But please note at the back of your mind that the reason why you're writing your resume is to market yourself. No wonder graduate schools, require you to submit a resume because they want to see how you stand out from a pool of 1,000 applicants that apply to their school, right? They want to know how you stand out, how you are the best, and how you can be a good fit on their program. So take your time when writing your resume. We move to the next step. So this information is this is what I call, maybe I've emphasized these points, but I again want to emphasize them here. Key points to note. So whether your resume is a one-page document, two-page document, what you should note is the fact that your resume should have these 5 information, right? It should have the contact information section. So you have to look at the question, how can you be contacted? So keep this question on the back of your mind while designing your resume. So how can you be contacted? So that should come up first. That should be at the top of your resume. You have to think about the contact information. The next information, the next section that is very important is your education. So you have to ask the question, what is the level of my education, right? So this is also important because the admission committee for a number of graduate schools, the requirements to gain admission is a first degree. So they want to see what is the level of your education. They want to also verify the institution that gave you the education. They want to verify the date your degree was coming to that point. But that is just it. Ask yourself, what is the level of your education? And the reason why I brought this up, I know for so many people, they have got their education in several universities, right? And I've seen all the resume where people indicate their high school or their secondary school. And always note that you have to indicate that your highest level of education or your education that is related to the graduate program that you want to apply to. So always bring education that are related and also that are relevant. Your most relevant and related and bring them up. But ask yourself, what is your level of education? Your most related or most recent, whatever time you use on that. So experience. Ask yourself the question, what experience do you bring? Do you have any experience? So the grad school want to know where you have worked, or where you have done your community service, or where you have volunteered, or where you have done student job. If you have done any student job before, you have volunteered before, please bring that up. So ask yourself the question, what experience do I bring to the school? They want to know the period you have worked, the organizations you have worked with, or you have volunteered with, and what are some of the things that you learn. So in talking about the things that you have learned or you achieved, so what are some of the skills you have? What are your top skills? I know for so many people they have a lot of things that they know, but because you don't want your resume to be very long, you just want to summarize the skills that you have. So amongst the 20 or 50 skills that you have, the top 5 skills that you have, and then you bring them up, you write them in your resume. That will be very good, because when you share about your skills, it stands you out and it makes you a very good fit for the program. So please be sure about some of the skills. And the last, someone says that our ability to communicate well is a stepping stone of becoming successful. So communication is very important. When you're able to communicate very well, it shows your curiosity, it shows that you are willing to learn, it shows that you are willing to take risks, right? So your ability to communicate means that you're someone who can interact, you're someone who to challenging situations, and you're someone who is ready to learn and share ideas. So please, you should be able to indicate the languages that you can speak, because for a number of grad schools, especially in the United States, they have language requirements. They want sort of proficiency either in English, in French, in Chinese, whatever language you can speak. Please be sure to indicate your level of proficiency either in writing or in speaking. That again stand you out in a pool of thousands of applicants, right? That is cool. So we come to the next step. This step is about let me here. So this step is about your education. So let's just look at your education. Like I've already mentioned this, but what I want to emphasize here is that your education should list the schools that I'm just listing them again. So maybe you have attended up to 4 to 5 schools, but I write just the top schools that you have attended, the name of the schools or the universities, degree you got, and the date the degree was conferred on you. Also, if you receive honors or awards during your time at the university, I would advise that you also list the awards that you receive, the name of the award, the institutions that conferred the awards on you. This also stands you out in a pool of 1,000 applications, right? It shows that you have a potential and you are someone who is ready to overcome challenges and become successful. And also, emphasize graduate school resume is because you are really state point average. So this resume is really different from the other resume that you submit, because here you're really going to state what was your grade points, what was your highest or least grade point that you got. So here you have the opportunity to list your grade point average, right? We move to the next step. So in this step, we are looking at your skills. So like I said, your resume should reflect not just how you can be contacted, not just your education, but also your skill, the skills that you have. Very important, right? So you can see, you can list the skills that you have. Be very honest about this. If you know that you don't understand Excel, you are not familiar with Excel, don't say you know Excel. Always put the skills that you know you have, which is very good, because at the end of the day, it is you. It is about you. If you say you have the skill and then the admission committee decides to enroll you on the program, and after skill, it is a huge disappointment on your part. But always be sure to indicate the skills that you know that you have. Don't something that you don't have. Be honest about your resume. Be honest about the skills that you have on your resume. I know as you keep growing further, you'll be able to develop other skills as you keep learning. But always, someone says that you cannot give what you don't have, right? So of course, if you understand Office 4, Office 365 package, if you know how to use Excel, you know how to use Office for PowerPoint, and all of the. Also, if you understand programming, for example, you know how to design grants, you can write a grant. You can also you know how to design a budget using Excel. You can also bring that up. If you are a fundraiser, you know how to do fundraising, or you're a programmer, you understand the programming language. You can also indicate the programming language that, right? If you know how to do Python, you can bring it up, right? So user interface designer, you can bring it up. So it depends on the skill that you have, what you want to do with that skill. So I also communication also is a skill, so you can bring that up. If you know your level of proficiency in whatever language that you speak well, you can indicate that I have high level, I have, or you have mid level. So it depends on your level of proficiency in communication. So whether it is English, it is French, Chinese, and whether it is Portuguese or Spanish, it doesn't matter what language you speak, but you have to indicate your level of proficiency, because I told you at the time that for a number of graduate school, they require you to have certain level of proficiency before they enroll. And then got leadership skills. These are not exclusive lists. These are just few examples of some of the skills that you should have. You can always add to them. These cannot be yours. You can add yours. You have to list the skills that you have, right? We'll move to the next. Let me see. Awesome. So your work experience. What about the work experience? Yes, so the work experience section also provides you the opportunity to share about your achievements. So like you ask yourself the question, what have I done? What have I achieved over the years? So it's about your achievements. So one of the things, so in this section, you're going to list the name of the organizations you have worked with and the duration of work. So this is a kind of the historical record, a historical proof of the things you've done, the little achievements you've done, the organization you achieved those things with, right? So it's just a historical proof. So you should be able to list the name of the organization, the title of the work you did, if you are a volunteer, you are a research assistant, whatever job you did, you should list the title of the job, the name of the organization, and the date you were able to achieve. You worked with that organization, or you did that voluntary job, or you did that internship. Whether it is internship, it is a voluntary job, it is a paid job, you should be able to list the contract you have and the date you're able to achieve that. So once that is done, you move to the next step, you list your achievements. So what are some of the things you achieve during your time at that organization, right? So you're going to list the number of people you helped, the number of projects you completed, the behavior of people you changed. So you're going to list the numerical, the attitudinal, and some of the things that you achieve during your time at that organization, right? So do that. If you develop a business plan, you develop a project plan that you're proud of, whatever you achieved, whatever you created, the value you created, the services you provided, you should list them here under your achievements. So when they say achievements, it's not about big things, just the little things you are able to, the quantifiable or the descriptive things you're able to do. You can describe them or you quantify them, as whatever the case may be. And then once you've done with that, you can also list rewards. So during the time of your service, your working period, if you receive any reward or awards because of your hard work and all of the things you did, you can also list some of those rewards. Yeah. And then I think that is done. That is done, and I can go back. And that is the basic part of how to write a resume, right? Be open to receiving your questions. You can drop many questions, or you can just reach out to me, and on any platform. You can reach out to me on WhatsApp, you can reach out to me on Facebook, and also you can drop a message here in this video. If you find this video very helpful, and I want you to like this video, and I also encourage you to share this video with more people, because when we share information, then more people will be able to know. More people know, then we are helping, and we are and hope and compassion, so that people can become so as the world become a better place. So thank you very much for doing part 2 of this video. I will be bringing my resume, and then I'll be projecting my resume so you guys can see some of the portions of it. But for now, use this